Ed? What is the matter with you? Seriously, you have got some explaining to do for yourself. I mean, did you really spend $5,000 on our credit card last month?
Why? Is that what the bill is showing? It doesn't feel like I spent that much money, but wow. Maybe I did actually.
Yes, it is what our credit card bill is saying, if you must know. Not only that, but so much of the money was spent going to those bars where all the girls wear skimpy clothing and flirt with the customers. What is the meaning of this? Please tell me that there is some kind of mistake that I'm just not seeing right now.
Oh, yes. I remember now. I did use all of that money. Yeah. The thing was that one of the girls that I really like was having her birthday at work. So I went all out on her.
Are you kidding me? You mean that you really spent all that much on a girl for her birthday? Now look, Ed, I am not going to pretend like I can stop you from flirting with other women, but as long as you don't go too far with it, I won't say anything. But still, spending this kind of money for something like that is just, well, it's a bit much, don't you think?
What are you talking about? It's fine. I don't see what the problem is. I mean, it's not like we don't make enough money to afford it.
That might be true, but if you're going to spend that much money, then we're going to have nothing for our savings by the end of the month. And then just how do you think we're going to get along when we've retired, huh?
Well, it's not like that's happening next week or anything. We're still young and have plenty of time. Besides, I'm the breadwinner around here, so I don't understand what you think you're doing trying to tell me how to spend my money. You don't have any right.
You know, you've really changed, Ed. Ever since you switched jobs, it's like all you can think of is trying to spend every cent that we have on the stupidest things.
Are you talking about the raise that I got? Well, excuse me if I realize that we have more money to spend every week and I allow myself a little treat every now and then. Unlike you, I wasn't happy living being poor and had to settle for what we had.
Oh, please, it's not even like our lives were all that hard before you were doing what you're doing now. We were more than comfortable, I would even say.
Well, I guess you just really wouldn't understand. But us men don't settle down so easily. We have ambition in our hearts that never dies out. So the moment we settle into a new routine, we're already thinking about how we're going to get ahead next. The whole reason I wanted a new job was because I wanted the challenge and all the knowledge I would gain from learning new skills. You might be happy with being comfortable, but I want more than that.
Look, Ed, I think it's really great that you wanted to challenge yourself with this new position and all, but you are just taking the spending a little too far. I mean, it's like you've never even heard of fiscal responsibility or anything like that. You just need to slow down with all of this.
And just what am I doing that's making you this upset, huh? I think you're taking this whole thing way too far.
Well, for one, you giving off the energy that you think everyone is beneath you.
Is that it? Is that what got you upset? Well, I don't know what you want me to do about that if it's a fact. After all, I got myself this far through my own hard work, and no one can take that away from me. If my success offends them, that's their problem. But anyone who would really feel that way instead of feel motivated by me isn't even worth my time.
You don't really think that way about other people, though, do you, Ed?
Why wouldn't I? I mean, it's only the truth. I'm being honest. Besides, this is a good thing for you too. It means that you chose the right one and married a winner. Can't you see that people recognize it just seeing us walking down the street together? So it's good for the both of us. I would think you would understand how I feel, coming from your dad who never managed to accomplish anything in his life.
Excuse me, Ed, but I would appreciate it if you kept your thoughts on my dad to yourself. And just what does my dad have to do with this anyways? You've been bringing him up more and more.
Well, maybe that's because now the tables have flipped and I'm in the higher position than your dad.
Okay, sure, that may be true in your professional lives. After all, my dad's company relies on contracts from your company to survive. But that shouldn't bleed into the private sphere. You need to treat my dad with respect. I mean, he's your father-in-law, for crying out loud. Don't you want to be a good husband and son-in-law to my family? Don't you have any respect for them at all?
You really don't know anything. To a real man, the only thing that matters is status. If your dad only ever managed to own a middle or small-sized company, that's his fault, not mine. I didn't make him a loser. He did that through his own choices. I mean, it's not like he didn't have plenty of time to make different choices and change his life so that it wouldn't be what it is today.
I'm sorry, but you're acting like it isn't important at all what my dad does. But his company makes the microchips that your company's machinery relies on to work. So just because he relies on you for work doesn't mean that you can act like he doesn't do anything.
And now you're sounding just like the other loser who I know that I'm better than. Why are you even sticking up for these kinds of people? Here, I thought you'd be able to overcome your low past, but I guess I was wrong.
You really have some nerve talking to your wife like this, do you know that?
Well, it's the truth, isn't it? I mean, the fact is that your dad doesn't work for a huge company like mine. I'm the one doing him a favor by keeping him employed. It's just that I'm so realistic enough to admit that's what's happening. 6 months later.
Hey, Ed, did you bring a woman into our house?
What in the world are you talking about, Fran? Is that a serious question?
Don't you play games with me right now, Ed. Just answer the question. I am serious.
Are you seriously asking me that? You really think I would do something like that? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I found a few long blonde hairs in our bed, but we both have dark hair and haven't had any guests over in a while. So do you care to explain where these might have come from?
Have you gone crazy or something? Those hairs might have just been stuck to either one of us all day before falling off in bed. Is that really what you're basing these accusations on right now?
Oh no, that's not the only thing. You've been coming home late more and more often too. I was starting to get a little suspicious of you, so I decided to look at our credit card statement, and that's when I saw that you had been going out to restaurants those nights. And I would be very surprised if you were spending the amount that you were just to feed yourself.
You mean that you went and looked at my credit card statement to try and catch me cheating? You really are an obnoxious woman. Do you know that?
Well, that wasn't all that I saw. I also saw all the women's clothes that you were buying as well. And let's just say that I haven't gotten a present from you in a long, long time, so how was I supposed to take all of this as anything but proof of you cheating on me?
Okay, alright, fine. You caught me. I'm cheating on you. There. Are you happy?
How can you be so casual about this? Do you really not have any regrets about this at all? And are you going to tell me who it is that you've been cheating on me with?
And just why should I have to answer any of those questions, huh? Is there some law that says I have to answer to you?
Of course there's no law, but I am your wife, so I would think that it's the least you could do for me. Why can't you just tell me who it is that you've been seeing?
She's just some girl that works under me in the office. That's all.
So you've been cheating on me with another one of your coworkers then?
That's what I just said. But you're not getting any more information out of me than that. My work is really strict with office relationships, if they aren't serious. And if word got out that I was having an affair with someone else there, I would be in real trouble. So that's why you're never going to learn the name of this woman.
Very well. I understand that your hands are tied. That's fine. But I don't understand why you would cheat on me.
Well, because of the thrill of it all, of course. Besides, don't you know that the majority of men cheat on their spouses? So this really isn't even that big of a deal when you think about it.
You really have some nerve trying to tell me that this is something that I shouldn't have to worry about. I am the victim here, so I'm not going to be lectured about how this isn't a big deal by you.
So what? You think I should apologize to you or something like that? Because you have to know that this isn't going to happen. I'm never going to bow my head to someone that I know is beneath me.
Even if you wrong someone who you think is beneath you, you still won't even apologize or admit that you did wrong?
If I did anything to someone beneath me, then they probably had it coming. And as for you, you should just forget all about this little affair. Got it?
And just who do you think you are to tell me to do something like that, huh?
There you go, getting all hysterical on me. You really are such a selfish woman. Do you know that? You won't even let your husband go out and experience the smallest of thrills. I have to say that I'm just really let down by you, Fran. But then again, I guess you can understand why I chose to cheat on you now, can't you?
Well, the feeling of disappointment is so much more than mutual, Ed. I mean, you could have just said that you were sorry or just admitted that you did wrong, but you didn't have to say all this horrible stuff on top of it.
Ugh. I really just can't win with you, can I? Fine. If you're really going to be like this, just tell me something that you want and I'll buy it for you.
That isn't going to fix this, and you know that.
Well, there I go. I show you that I'm willing to make this up to you somehow, and you just shot me down. This proves that you're just trying to use this whole affair thing to gain leverage on me. But I'm telling you that it isn't going to work. In fact, two can play at this blackmail game. If you try and extort me like that again, I will make sure your dad gets fired.
But you don't even work for the same company. Do you really think you can do that?
Oh, of course I can. You think that I don't have enough sway to get someone fired from a company that we keep afloat? Your dad is on thin ice and he doesn't even know it. And the only one who can save him from me is you. So choose wisely. And don't ever try to threaten me again, or else you can be the one to explain to your dad why he lost his job. If you don't think I will, feel free to try me.
Please, just stop there. You know that my dad has nothing to do with this at all, so why bring him into this?
That's right. Your dad does have nothing to do with this. But if this is what I have to do to keep you in line, then you leave me no choice. Now, I don't want you to ever fight me on anything again. Got it?
Hey there, Fran. How have you been? Are you doing okay?
Hey there, Dad. How's it going? Is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm just fine. Thank you. I just thought it had been a while since you and I'd last spoke is all. So, how have you been? Has work keeping you busy or something like that?
Well, I guess so. I can't exactly say that I'm swamped, just keeping along at the usual pace.
And what about Ed? Are things good between the two of you? He should have work off today, right?
He is off work, yes, but he's out of the house right now.
Well, ain't that just the way? It seems like every time I happen to message you, he's always out of the house. I guess I must have really bad timing when I want to talk to you both, huh?
I just think that he has a lot going on, and so he's always busy. He barely spends any time at home, to be honest.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm sorry that you're not able to spend more time together. I know that must be hard for you. But are you okay, Fran?
Oh, Dad, I'm really sorry for making you worry. Yes, I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
Honey, are you sure about that? You know that you can tell me if anything is wrong, right?
Well, it's just... Yes, I'm fine. Why are you so concerned that something might be wrong with me anyways?
It was your mom who was worried about you first, actually. She said that you didn't quite sound yourself the last time you two talked on the phone.
Oh, really? Did she say that? Maybe I was just a little too tired is all.
Well, I feel like your mom might have thought that it was a bit more than that. I mean, it's not often that much time passes between the two of you talking. But now all of her worrying has got me worrying too. So, please, if anything has happened, just know that you can come to us about it.
I'm sorry, Dad. I want to say that, but I can't. Just know that I really am okay, though.
But why can't you tell your mom or I? We're your parents, for crying out loud. You know that we want to help you.
I know, and I wish that I could ask you for help, but this time I just can't. But it really isn't that big of a deal, so I just don't want you to worry yourself over me, okay?
Fran, come on. You know that your mom and I are not just gonna not worry about you. Please, you have to open up to us. Are you really trying to tell your dad that he can't help his daughter out this time?
Well, it's just that I don't think that you could in the way that you wanted to.
Well, I can't know that until you tell me a little more about what's going on. But if there was anything in my power that I could do, I would do it. So please, won't you just tell me what's going on? Whatever it is, it's gotta be better to have someone on your side for this.
Okay, well, the truth is that Ed is cheating on me. He's having an affair.
Wait, what? Are you serious? You're telling me that little punk has been seeing other women?
That's right, and before this, he even brought this other woman into our house. And when I called him out on his affair, he refused to apologize to me. He's always talking down to me.
And just who does that jerk think he is, treating you like that? You haven't deserved any of this. I want you to know that.
I know, but the thing is that Ed said that his company keeps yours afloat with the business they give you. He told me that if anyone ever found out who he was cheating on me with, that he would pull some strings and have you fired.
What on earth is that man talking about? Has he really no idea anything? Does he really think he can take me down that easily?
Well, he told me that he has a higher position in his company than you, and that's why I can't say anything. I would just hate for me to be the reason why you were fired.
Well, let me be the first to tell you that he can't just fire me. I don't care how our companies are related. He just doesn't have that power.
You really mean that, Dad?
Of course I do. He can't be a single to me, but I don't think he realizes how much I can do to him.
What do you mean? Is there something that you can do to Ed?
It is true that he is higher up in his company than I am, but he is still taking this way too far. I won't let him get away with this.
Dad, just what are you going to do? Is everything going to be okay?
For us? Yes. For the man that hurt my daughter like Ed has? Not at all.
Hey there, Ed. About the affair that you've been having. I just can't take it anymore. We need to talk.
And just what in the world do we even have to talk about? I thought that we already settled this matter.
Well, we didn't. Not at all. You just tried to silence me and that's it.
That's because there was nothing left to talk about. We settled this issue already. I told you that if you wanted an apology from me, I'd be happy to buy you something. But you shouldn't be getting this upset over something as small as an affair.
Well, I just can't stand around and pretend like I don't know what's going on in my own house.
Well then, what do you want to say to me, huh? Just be careful about how you word things, because I can have your dad fired with one simple phone call.
The only one around here is going to be fired is you little brat.
Brat? Excuse me? I'm older than you.
You're not talking to my daughter anymore, Ed. It's me, Cameron. And I know I should have never let my daughter marry you.
Wait a second. Cameron, as in Fran's dad, Cameron?
That's right. I'm here with Fran. She told me all about the hell you've been putting her through. But you should know that you aren't going to get away with this. We're going to make you pay for what you've done.
You think you can make me pay for what I've done? You really seem to be missing the bigger picture here, Cam. My company practically owns your company, so I'm afraid that there's not a single thing you can do to touch me, much less punish me for anything I've done outside of work.
I'm afraid you're the one who doesn't see what's really going on here. You see, your boss and I used to go to school together. He was a year younger than me, and I took him under my wing and mentored him. I could have you gone with just a text message.
Wait a second. You mean that you and my boss know each other?
That's right. And in this world, position isn't everything. Sometimes, a good human connection can take you much farther. I told your boss all about what you did to my daughter, and he got on his knees to beg for my forgiveness.
But that can't be right. Why would he do that when he's so much more rich and powerful than you?
I've already explained that quite clearly to you. But you should also know that I've already talked to your boss to take care of you.
Wait a second. What is that supposed to mean? Are you saying that you asked him to fire me?
How he chooses to deal with his employees is entirely up to him. But I understand there's already a system in place to punish office romances. Which, of course, is the exact kind of affair you were having, wasn't it? Fran already explained to me about how you made her keep her mouth shut through threats. But that was because you were scared of being punished for what you were doing.
But, I mean, I can't be fired for this. This is taking everything way too far, right? Everyone cheats. This isn't fair.
Do you really think that everyone cheats? You really are a sick guy if you think that's true. But anyways, I would start working on your resume and looking for empty positions you could fill.
But if I lose my job, then what about Fran? Who is going to take care of her? Don't you realize that you're hurting the both of us by doing this?
Oh, I don't think my daughter cares at all if you lose your job. After all, she's going to leave you and move back in with her mom and I.
The next day. Fran, are you there? I'm so sorry for everything. I was an idiot and shouldn't have treated you like that. Please, get back to me when you see this message.
Ugh, what do you want? You are seriously so annoying. Do you know that?
Fran, please, you have to forgive me. I'm so sorry for all the horrible things that I said. Please tell your dad that he has to forgive me for this.
I heard that you showed up for work today and tried to talk to your company president, right?
That's right. I needed to explain to him that this whole business with your dad was just one big understanding for me. But he just told me that I was fired. Nothing was going to change his mind. He was really upset about all the things that I said about being better than your dad. Then he told me at our company, we don't care about who is the contractor and contracted. He told me that I was being abusive towards very important clients and that he wasn't going to stand to have someone like me working under him. So that's why he told me that I was fired.
Well, I don't know the whole story, but it sounds to me like my dad and your old boss were quite close. From what my dad told me, your boss tried to open up a different business years ago, but it failed. Even so, my dad was there to support him and give him tips on how to run a business. So your boss was able to revive his business into the office where you work today.
I knew there was a previous version of this company that my boss started, but I didn't know the whole story of how it came to be. And I certainly had no idea that your dad played such a huge role in it.
Well, now you do. And now you understand why choosing to target me through my dad was a mistake. But you were always such a prideful person, so it doesn't surprise me that it took everything blowing up in your face to finally realize that you were wrong.
Well, can you at least tell your dad that I'm sorry? I've tried calling him a bunch of times, but I think that he's ignoring me. Please, you're all that I have left, Fran.
I'm afraid you're wrong about that. I'm not all that you have left because you never had me. There isn't a single part of me that feels like standing up for you, Ed. You betrayed me, blackmailed me, and made me live under the same roof with a husband that I knew was cheating on me. If you really think that there is any way that my dad or I will ever forgive you for this, then you're dead wrong. You and I are going to get a divorce, and I'm going to sue you for your affair, and then I never ever want to see you again. Got it?
Divorce me? Please, I just got fired. You can't do this to me. Please tell me that you're not serious about that. Hello? Fran? Are you still there? Please tell me that you're getting these messages. You have to help me. I'm begging you here. Please help me. Fran, come back.
After that, Ed and I got a divorce where I took him to the cleaners in alimony. I also sued him and his partner for their affair and got quite the hefty payout from them as well. Afterwards, I hear that the two of them were fired for their office romance, which went against company policy. They both went to their respective hometowns, begging for their parents to take them back in. Thankfully, I never heard from either one of them again. The same day that Ed was fired, his boss invited me to his office and gave me a very kind and sweet apology for what Ed had done. He told me that he had no idea an affair was happening in his office and that that's why he hates office romances. I thanked him for his concern, but I was just glad that we were able to teach Ed a lesson that status isn't everything. As for me, I'm still trying to get back on my feet while living with my parents. I've gone out and found a job and am apartment hunting too. It hasn't been easy adjusting back to the single life, but I'm sure that after what I've been through, I'll be just fine.
Clara, you've got some serious explaining to do right now. I mean, what is up with this lunch you packed me? Are you trying to starve me to death or something? Besides, isn't this just leftovers from yesterday's dinner? Glad to know you care enough about me to cook me something fresh.
Oh, Ryan, I really am sorry about that. I was just so busy this morning, I hardly had any time to make something fresh for you.
You're telling me that you're a housewife who can't even do the most basic of duties for her husband?
Ryan, I really don't think that you're being fair to me right now. I mean, just think about everything that happens in the morning. First, I have to go and wake up our children, get them out of bed, and make food for them. Not to mention everything else I have to get ready for them, and you, before you all go out for the day.
There you go. So you admit that it's your job to get everything ready for us before we leave, and yet you just chuck last night's scraps into a Tupperware and try to pass it off as making me lunch? It's not like you're even doing anything in the daytime. I don't get why you can't just make me something different then. Surely you have some time to do that while the kids are at school, right?
Well, maybe I could if we split up the housework just a little bit more.
And why in the world would I do something like that, huh? You know that I go to work to put food on our table and keep the roof over our head, right?
Of course I know that, and I really am grateful for all that you do for us. But can we at least acknowledge that I'm having to do all of the housework and child rearing all by myself, right?
Well, duh. That's kind of what being a housewife means. You really want special treatment for that?
So you're saying that I don't have any right to ask for help at all? That's why you think you can just order me around like this?
Man, you just are full of stupid things to say today, aren't you? I'm asking you to do the bare minimum when it comes to providing for your family. You're the one asking me to do more work on top of already going to a full-time job where I do provide for my family.
Well, what about the stuff with the kids? Surely we could split that up just a little more evenly, don't you think? After all, you are their father. They're your kids too, you know. Don't you think you should be trying to spend more time with them and doing more for them?
I watch over them now and then, don't I?
Honestly, you barely even do that. Anytime I ask you to watch the kids so that I can do the shopping or something, you just sit there and play on your phone. And even this last time when I asked you to watch Bridget, you were asleep when I got back. How can you say that you watch the kids when your eyes aren't even on them in the first place?
Oh, wow. So I guess I'm not allowed to feel tired or fall asleep anymore? Is that what you're telling me? You? Who just sits around the house doing nothing all day until we all get back from school and work? You've got some nerve talking to me like this.
I don't do nothing all day and you know it, Ryan. I don't get what's happened with you. You used to cook dinner for the family and you used to love spending time with the kids. You even used to help me clean up around the house.
That was way, way early in our marriage. Which is to say that it was when you were a lot prettier than you are now. But now all you do is nag at me and try to kill me with your horrible, lousy cooking.
Well, if you think that I'm the only one that's gotten older, you might want to go and look in a mirror.
That's exactly what I'm talking about when I say that you're always nagging me. You really think you're making things better for yourself when you talk to me like that?
Oh, please. I'm only saying what you're saying to me. Don't be a jerk.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot that I'm always the bad guy and every little thing is always my fault, isn't it?
I don't even remember what we were talking about, but you should know that I'm really starting to reach my limit with you. You have no idea how hard it is to take care of you and the kids all at the same time.
Take care of me? Did you really just say that you're doing that for me? You really are delusional if you think that's what's going on.
And what about cooking for you all the time, or any other thing you order me around to do? It's not like you don't know how to do these things either. You're just too lazy to do anything yourself.
Well, I've already told you that I work and that's why I don't have time for any of that. You're the one with all the free time on your hand and that's why you do all of that. Don't you know anything about being a housewife? Oh, what am I talking about? Of course you don't.
There you go, trying to put me down all the time. Why do you always do this, huh?
Oh, please. I'm not doing anything. You're just being way too sensitive. The fact of the matter is that the housewife does the work in the house. That's how it works. Don't try and drag me into doing your work for you just because you're too lazy to do anything yourself.
You just really don't seem to get it, do you?
What I get is that I've let you get away with whatever you want. Do you have any idea how many people are in our same positions and don't complain about it? Anyways, I'm gonna go out and buy some lunch for myself if you don't have anything else to say to me.
Well, what about the food that I packed for you?
Yeah, that's all sitting in the trash can right now. Next time, actually put some effort into what you make for me. Got it?
Well, either way, we're still not done here. I still have things that I want to say.
Well, I don't have any more time that I can waste on you. You've already taken up enough time of my lunch break. A few weeks later.
Hey, Ryan, what time do you think you're going to be home today?
I'm gonna be home late. Got a problem with that?
No, but do you mind if I ask why? Are you doing overtime or something like that?
No, I'm out eating right now. And I'm having some beer with my meal too. Have anything to say about that?
Wait a second. You're out right now? But I told you that I had a cold, didn't I? I really would like to rest.
I know you're sick. That's why I'm going out. You probably haven't even cooked anything for us to eat, have you?
Well, I actually just fed the kids their dinner, and there's plenty left here for you too.
Oh, I see. Well, whatever. Why would I go home when I might catch whatever you have? You really are clueless sometimes. Do you know that?
But I haven't had a chance to rest at all. I've been awake all day, and I'm only putting the kids to bed now.
Well, then go and do that. Why don't you go to bed yourself while you're at it?
Ryan, I thought you said that you were going to come home early tonight.
And why would I even bother coming home when all you do is ask me to do stuff around the house if I do? Huh? You wish that I would come home early, but it's not gonna happen.
Ryan, please. My fever is really, really high. I feel absolutely terrible right now.
Oh, please. It's just a little cold. Calm down. Everyone gets them. You're not that special. Just take some medicine and go to bed. You'll be fine. Besides, I've gone to work with a fever all the time and nothing bad ever happened.
Did you really do that? You just don't care about anyone but yourself, do you? I just want to spend some time resting at home. Is that really so bad?
Which is basically your way of telling me that you want me to do everything around the house for you when I come back from work, isn't it?
Please, Ryan. If you just help me out a little, I promise that I would get better quickly.
You know, the whole reason why I tell you to work is for your own good. Besides, if I did all the work that you do for me, what would even be the point of having you around?
What do you mean? Please tell me that you're not being serious about that.
I mean, what is even the point of having a housewife who is barely a wife and barely does anything around the house? You think I wanted to marry some shut-in who complains about every single little sniffle?
You mean that you only want me in your life so that I can take care of our kids and clean up after your messes?
You really are thick sometimes. You know that? How many times are you going to make me say that the housework and child rearing are your job? What is even the point of having you around if I'm going to have to explain to you over and over and over again? Just think about it. Why in the world would I want to be married to someone who didn't do everything that I ordered them to?
But then, what's even the point? Is that really the whole reason you and I are even married in the first place?
And she finally gets it. Maybe now, you can finally take the next step of doing your work without me having to tell you all the time. And staying healthy is a part of your job too, you know. You really think the whole world's just gonna stop just for you?
Well, I think that I might have gotten whatever this is from Bridget, and I think that someone from her school gave it to her.
Yeah. You can't blame your husband for this one, so you blame your kids instead. I'm glad you have enough time to think of all these excuses. Anyways, can we finally be done with this stupid conversation now?
Ryan, aren't you even worried about me? I feel really awful.
Are you going to die? Is this cancer? Are you on fire? No? Then knock this woe is me crap off.
How can you act like this when all I'm asking for is a little help? I mean, isn't that what husbands and wives are supposed to do? We're supposed to be there for each other. Besides, you said that you were going to come home early when I told you that I was sick. You said that you were going to watch the kids for me. Don't you remember that? I don't think you've ever done a single thing for me in my entire life.
Are you really getting this upset just because I don't care that you have a head cold? You really are just not going to let this go, are you?
I can't believe that you're treating me like this. You're horrible. Do you know that?
You're really starting to piss me off. Do you know that? Give me a break already. You need to open your eyes and realize just how lucky you have it. I would have never married you if I had known that you were just going to sit in my house, eat my food, use my money, and then have the nerve to not ever do anything for me. How about you try making as much money as I do, and then try to talk to me? 3 months later.
Okay, Ryan. You and I are going to talk about what's going to happen from here on out.
What in the world are you going on about now, huh? What is it this time?
I am sick and tired of the way things are, and I am not going to stand for this anymore. You never do anything around the house, and you always make fun of me. And on top of all that, you hardly ever spend any time with the kids, too.
So let me guess. You're about to tell me that I have to do all the work around the house from now on? You really have some nerve, you uppity housewife. I thought I'd already told you. You don't have any right to complain until you make as much as me.
Oh, I remember. That's exactly why we're having this conversation right now, actually. As of this month, I make more money than you do, Ryan, and that is why I want to get a divorce from you.
Wait, what? Did you hit your head or something? What are you talking about? You don't make more money than me. I mean, you're too busy taking care of the house and kids to be able to even find time to work.
Well, I worked hard to make time, so what do you think about that then, huh? But I never stopped doing the work that I was doing. I just made time by cutting back on my sleep. And for the past 3 months, I've been working hard at studying how to make money. And all my hard work is finally paid off.
You mean that in the last 3 months you've managed to learn enough to find a job that earns more than mine does? You're such a liar. It isn't even funny anymore.
Are you sure about that? I would always send you a copy of my pay stub if you don't believe me. Then you'll see that I'm not lying. What do you think about that?
So then, you really do have a job now?
That's what I'm telling you. And you did say that all I had to do was make as much as you, right? And then you would finally listen to what I had to say to you.
Okay. Hold on just 1 minute. I don't know what you're up to right now, but we're going to talk about this at home.
I'm afraid that we won't be doing that, actually. I'm leaving the house today, and I'm never coming back.
Clara, please, just calm down so we can talk about this a little, okay?
Oh, I am very calm. And the fact of the matter is that we are getting divorced, and there is nothing that you can do about it.
But divorce is serious. We need to talk about this before just deciding to do it. Please, let's just talk about this when I get back home.
There really isn't anything to talk about at all.
Okay. I get that maybe I was leaving a bit too much of the housework for you to do by yourself.
That isn't even a conversation to be had. It's just the truth. And no matter how hard I tried to explain that to you, you wouldn't listen.
Clara, please. You can't do this to me. Are you really just gonna go? Hold on. I'm gonna come back home right now. Just please wait there for me, okay? A few days later.
Ryan, I want you to hurry up and sign those divorce papers that I sent you.
You mean you still really want to go through with this? What about the kids?
Now you want to talk about the kids? Give me a break. You want to try and fight me for custody? Well, good luck with that. I can't think of a single judge that would ever entrust the kids with you after I tell them how you never did anything for them.
You're right. I've been so mean to you. But it's not going to happen again. So, please, just come back.
Ryan, you really just don't get it, do you? It's over. We're going to get divorced, and there's nothing you can do about it.
But why? I already told you that I'd spend more time with the kids and help you out around the house. What more do you want from me? Whatever you want, I'll do it. Just please don't leave me.
You were so helpful when we had our first child, but when we had our second, it was like you lost all interest. Not just in being with them, but in doing anything around the house. And you put it all on me, bit by bit. Instead, it was like I was raising 3 kids all by myself.
But I only asked you to do what I thought you would be able to do.
How can you say that when I told you over and over again that I was struggling with everything that I was doing? I told you all the time that I couldn't handle the housework and taking care of the kids, and that I just wanted a little help. And instead, you just put me down, accused me of making up excuses or faking sickness. You acted like you were king of the world, all because the work you did was outside the house. Well, it's too late to fix it. I've made up my mind and nothing is going to change it no matter what.
Please, don't do this. Don't say that.
You don't have any more power over me. No matter what you say, what you offer to do, it isn't going to change what's going to happen. I've hated living with you, and now I am going to end this. I am finally going to be free of you.
Clara, please don't do this. I didn't mean to push you so hard. It's just that the stress of the job was getting to me. I was just jealous of you because you got to stay at home.
And that's only because you got it in your head that I wasn't doing anything at home. Even though I told you all the time about all that I was doing, you just weren't listening to me.
And I shouldn't have done that, and I realize that now. Please, you have to come back. The house is filthy, and there's no one here to clean it. Now I finally realize all that you were doing for us.
No one to clean the house? Aren't you forgetting about someone? As in, yourself?
But I never noticed how much you did because you always made sure that the house was clean before I got home. And I hate being so far away from my kids, too. Every time I come home, there's no one here. It's so lonely.
If you ask me, I think you deserve it.
But how am I supposed to live without you? Please, I promise to never treat you poorly again. It won't ever happen. You have to believe me.
Even the children say that they don't want to see you anymore. So if you're just going to keep begging me to come back like the pathetic worm that you are, I think that we're done here.
You mean you're just gonna leave me like this? Please, I still have so much to talk to you about it. You can't do this to me.
I'll say one more thing to you and that's it. Sign the divorce papers or else I'm going to get lawyers involved and it won't get pretty. After that, I didn't call a lawyer, but I did call Ryan's parents as well as my own and explain to them what I'd been going through and why I was divorcing Ryan. At first, his parents didn't believe me, but after I showed them the text that he would send me, they support my decision fully. They called Ryan and shouted at him to sign the papers and quit dragging the process out. During the divorce proceedings, I made sure that I got full custody of the children and that Ryan would have to pay child support. He begged me to at least give him visiting rights, and I told him that I would think about it, but that I needed time. I moved back into my parents' house with my children and continued with my online job. I actually wasn't making as much money as I told Ryan, but I had a pay stub that included a bonus that was enough to convince him I was making more than him. After my months of working in secret, however, I was also busy completing training modules and told that I was up for a big promotion. That was when I knew it was time to leave Ryan. Soon, I'll move us out to a place of our own. But for now, I am enjoying having the help with my children from my parents, just like they enjoy getting to be so close to their grandchildren. And I, of course, am making sure we're not too much of a burden on them. Hey, Jimmy, are you there? I just wanted to let you know that a pregnant woman was just at our house.
A pregnant woman? What is that supposed to mean? Who was this woman? A friend of yours or something like that?
No, she wasn't anyone that I had ever met before. But she introduced herself as Libby to me. Do you happen to know anyone named Libby?
Libby, huh? No. Not really anyone that I can think of.
So then, you're telling me that you forgot who this person is?
I don't really know. All I know is that I don't think that I have any friends with that name, so I don't know what you want me to say.
Well, that's just so weird, because when she showed up, she said that she was looking for you because you helped her out. She said that she was feeling really ill one day from her pregnancy and sat down outside. And she said that you must have noticed how she was feeling because you offered to buy her some water since it was so hot.
Oh, wow. Yes, okay. Now that you say all of that, this sounds a lot more familiar now. I just had no idea that that woman's name was Libby is all. You're really telling me she showed up to our house just to thank me for that?
Apparently so. But honestly, you almost never see people take that kind of time and patience to say their thanks. I mean, she even brought over a pie that she baked for us.
Oh, wow. Well, great. That's all good then, isn't it?
I think so, yes. And I don't know how she knew, but she made pecan pie, my favorite.
Well, that is good. I was almost worried for a second that something bad had happened with this person.
Well, that is actually one thing that I wanted to talk to you about with this woman. I asked her how she knew where we all lived, and she told me that you told her our address on the day you helped her.
Well, she kept going on about how she wanted to pay me back and she wouldn't let up. So I finally told her our address. But of course, I never really thought that she would even remember it, let alone show up at our front door. I honestly totally forgot that I even told her the address. I thought I'd just helped her and that was it.
I see. Well, I guess I can see how you would just forget doing something like that while you were busy. But either way, it sounds like Libby was really, really grateful for all that you did to her. I mean, To think that she would come all the way here just to try and thank you in person. It really is amazing.
Yeah, right? I mean, of course it's not like she really needed to come all the way here.
Well, I guess she just felt really, really grateful for what you did for her. It sounds like she really wasn't feeling well at all, and you showed up at just the right moment. But wow, she looked really, really pregnant when she showed up. I sure hope she's feeling better now and isn't having any of those issues that you had to help her through.
If you think she's looking better, then hopefully that means she is. She was looking pretty bad the day that we first met.
I think she was looking very good. She was all smiles and very, very polite. And I asked her if she was feeling better, and she said that she was. So hopefully there isn't anything to worry about.
Well, there you go. It sounds like all is well that ends well, right?
But there is just another thing that I still can't quite wrap my head around. I mean, it's just that it's a little unusual for you to be helping people like that.
Oh, come on. Are you really telling me it's unusual for me to give people a hand now and then? That's crazy.
Well, I'm just saying that I've been in bed with a fever and can hardly get a word out of you, much less a hand.
Right, well, the thing about that time was that I had a really important conference coming up, and I couldn't risk getting whatever it is that you had.
Yes. We've already talked this topic to death, if you ask me. But I just can't help comparing that time to now. And I suppose that leads me to think that maybe we shouldn't have gotten married.
Oh, come on. Give me a break, Cindy. You're just being ridiculous now. I told you that I was really sorry for the way I acted while you were sick. And of course, if that ever happened to you again, I would be by your side the entire time.
I certainly hope so. Because if you repeated that same little stunt of yours again, well, it just wouldn't go well for you.
I know, Cindy. And I want you to know that I am really sorry about that.
Well, anyways, it's all in the past now. But you should hurry home so we can enjoy this homemade pie.
Glad to see that no matter how you feel about the situation, you're still going to eat the pie anyways.
I mean, why wouldn't I? That's just a waste of a good pie at that point, you know? Anyways, do you have any idea what time you're going to come home today?
I think I might actually have to come back just a little late, so I might not be home until around 9.
Oh, okay. No problem at all. I'll just keep doing my work at home too then. And make sure to have some dinner ready for you by the time that you get home as well.
Thank you so much for that, Cindy. I appreciate it. And good luck with your work as well. 2 weeks later. Cindy, are you there? Is now a good time to chat really quick?
Oh, Jimmy? What's the matter? Is everything okay?
Well, it's just, I have to go on a business trip. I'll have to leave for it next week, and I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks after that.
Hold on a second. You mean that you're going to be out of town next week? But Jimmy, that's when our anniversary is.
I know. That's why I'm really sorry about this.
I mean, we even made those reservations at our favorite restaurant for it.
You're right. And I'm really sorry this had to come up right now. I promise to try and make it up to you when I get back. Okay?
Well, okay. I mean, I guess if it's for your job, then you can't really say no to it, right? I can call the restaurant and tell them to cancel the plans, though.
Please do, Cindy. I really appreciate that. I was really looking forward to getting to go out with you, of course, but...
No, it's fine. I know that you wouldn't do something like this. It sounds like we really don't have much choice. But you don't really get sent on business trips all that often. In fact, I don't think you've had any since we got married.
Yeah, you're right. But this one is just a bit weird. Should be a one-off thing, really.
Oh, I see. So then it's not that you're just going to be having to do a lot more business trips in the future?
Yeah, that's right. I really think that if there are more in the future, that they're going to be really rare.
Actually, while we're on this subject, I just wanted to say that you've been coming home later and later recently. Are things just getting really busy at work for you or something like that?
Yeah, that's what's going on. Our managers are trying to introduce this new system, and it's taking a lot of readjusting. So everyone at the office is kind of all over the place and really scattered in terms of how to do their jobs now.
Oh, I see. Well, I hope that your bosses aren't driving everyone totally crazy. But anyways, you need to make sure to watch what you eat while you're away on this business trip. You can't just be eating junk food or out at restaurants every day, got it? Have a salad every now and then.
Okay. I wasn't going to eat just junk food, you know. Besides, you know that I care a lot more about what I eat since I got together with you. But I will have to eat out a few times just because there's going to be business meetings with clients and all of that. And I'm sure that we're going to be taking them out to nice restaurants to try and impress them, you know?
Well, just as long as you're doing it for work and not just having a mini vacation for yourself over there. And make sure you don't agree to go out on any kind of skeevy girly bars or anything like that. Got it?
Come on, Cindy. Just who do you think I am anyways, huh? Besides, this is going to be on the company dime, so auditors are going to look at where we've gone. I think we'll probably just go out to eat dinner, talk, and then everyone is going to go home. It'll all be pretty simple.
I certainly hope that it's that simple. But with all that said, I'll go take down your suitcase and start packing some clothes for you. And then I'll be sure to leave it by the front door so it's ready for when you need it.
My suitcase? What do you mean by that?
Well, you're the one who just told me that you were going to go away on a business trip for 2 weeks.
Oh, right. Duh. Sorry, just kind of had a little brain fart right there.
It is 2 weeks, isn't it? Tell me now so that when I pack for you, I get it right.
Yeah, it is 2 weeks. I'm sorry about the confusion. It's just been a while since I've gone on a business trip like this. I hope I don't forget anything.
Well, do you think that you're going to be coming home late tonight again?
Yeah, I think I will. But it shouldn't be as bad as the other nights this time.
I see. Well, okay then. I guess I'll just make dinner for you and leave it in the usual spot for you.
Yes, please. And I really am sorry that I've been leaving so much housework for you to do. I appreciate you stepping up to help out.
Well, I understand that you're really busy with work these days, so it really isn't a big deal. Besides, you know that I'm basically home all day with my work anyways. I only have to go into the office a couple of times a week, so I have time to handle things around here.
It's almost not fair, you know?
Oh, really? What makes you say that? I remember before you were so cagey about my working as well.
I know, and I always feel bad for that as well. I'm glad that you work, Cindy.
Do you really mean that? It's good to hear at least, because I was always thinking of working anyways.
And I really wouldn't expect any less of you anyways. So, anyways, I just want to let you know that when I get back from the business trip, I promise that I'm going to do even more work around the house than before.
Really? Do you really, really mean that, Jimmy? Because I'm going to hold you to that, you know.
Of course I mean it, and you should hold me to it. I'm really happy that I've married such a self-sufficient woman, but it's just taught me that I need to step up and do more.
But seriously, why would they do something like this? I mean, don't they know when our anniversary is? It's so unfair that they're going to make you work through it. You know that's not right, right?
I know. But I guess it's all decided and a bit too late to try and do anything about it now, right?
I guess so. I suppose I really have no choice but to just wait for you to come back.
Don't worry. This trip is going to go great, and then I'll come back home and make it all up to you. 1 week later.
Hey, Jimmy. Are you there? I was just wondering if you wanted to try calling today.
Oh, shoot, Cindy. I'm really, really sorry, but I actually have plans to go out to dinner with a client pretty soon here. And I don't think that I'm going to be getting back to the hotel until pretty late at night, actually.
Oh, I see. Well, okay. That's fair, I suppose.
Also, I'm really sorry about this, but my trip was extended for an additional week. But we'll find the time to call soon, okay?
You mean you promised me that you'll be back here in a week?
I promise that I'll be back then. I mean, it's not like I want to be so far from home and having to do work.
But you really are doing work, right? I mean, you're really away on a business trip right now, right?
Of course I am. Just what do you even mean with those kinds of questions?
Well, it's just that I had a friend tell me that they saw you in the next town over today. But I told them that that couldn't be right because you're away.
Well, yeah, of course that's what it was. It's impossible that your friend saw me because I'm not even in the state right now. I guess whoever this person was, they just looked like me. Besides, I wouldn't really think that your friends are the best people to recognize me since we really only met once when you and I got married, right?
Yeah, I guess that is true, now that you point it out.
Well then, it sounds to me like your friend just saw someone who looked like me. Unless they really did look like me, in which case, I'd kinda like to see them. I've always wondered about if I had a doppelganger out there somewhere.
You know, I was really surprised my friend told me that actually. I even thought that you might be lying to me for a second.
Oh, come on. You know that I would never do something like that, Cindy.
I know, but it's just that ever since you left on your business trip, I feel like we've barely been able to talk. And if I don't send you messages, then you hardly ever reach out to me first, you know?
I know that, but it's only because I'm really busy right now.
And so you're really at the hotel for your business trip right now? You promise that's the truth?
That's what I'm telling you. If you really want me to, then I can send you a picture of the place when I get back to it after dinner.
Okay then. I want to see the hotel and the inside of your room too, okay?
Yeah, of course. Whatever it's going to take to set your mind at ease about all of this.
Well, then do you think that you could show me all of this during a video call?
You want me to show you the hotel I'm staying at on a video call? I knew that you really didn't believe me. Do you have any idea how hard I'm working out here? I really don't need this.
Jimmy, I didn't want to say anything, but I think you've been acting really weird lately.
And I've already told you, it's because I'm really busy with work right now. And when I finish work, I get back to my hotel room exhausted. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a dinner to get to.
But you'll send me photos of the hotel, won't you?
I don't know. Maybe if I remember to at this point. But right now, I just really don't want to talk to you. Please just leave me alone right now, okay? 1 week later. Hey there, Cindy. Super sorry to bug you while you're working, but is now a good time?
Yeah, now works. I'm actually taking the day off, so it's fine.
Oh, really? You are? What are you doing that for?
Well, I just had some things that I needed to take care of is all. Why? Am I not supposed to?
No, that's fine, of course. I was actually just messaging you to tell you that my trip has been extended by another week. I'm really sorry to do this to you, but my office is just really desperate to have me out here and I need to stay longer.
Your business trip? I thought that you were taking paternity leave. That's what your work told me anyways. You don't have to lie anymore about this. Why don't you tell me whose kid this is?
Wait, what do you mean paternity leave? What, are you pregnant or something?
You know, the other day I just happened to run into one of your coworkers at the supermarket. They came up to me to congratulate me, and when I asked what for, they said the child that I just had. Anyways, I was pretty confused, so I called your office to ask about what that person meant. And your supervisor told me that you had been away on paternity leave this whole time. Care to explain yourself?
I think there's been some kind of mistake here. Maybe when you gave the person on the phone your name, they looked up someone with the same last name as me. Maybe they just told you about someone else at my office who was taking off for paternity leave, right? I mean, I already told you about how rare it is for men to get that where I work.
Are you there with your client right now, Jimmy?
Would it be weird if I was right now?
Okay, well, I think I'm going to leave the house. You have fun with your business trip or whatever it is.
Wait, what? What do you mean you're leaving the house? Where are you going? What is this all about?
Jimmy, just give it up. I already know everything. I know that you knocked up that Libby girl, and that you've been having an affair with her for a while now, right?
Wait, what? Are you crazy? What in the world ever gave you that idea? Of course I'm not having an affair with that lady.
You know, I almost told you this, but when Libby came over to drop off her gift, she also gave me a thank you letter that had her address on it. At first, I didn't think anything of it, until that friend told me that they saw you in a nearby town.
We went over this. That had to have been someone who looked like me.
I was willing to believe that until I realized that that was a town that Libby lives into. So I tried to go and look at her place and the address she gave me, and I didn't have to wait long before I saw you sneaking in. I even took pictures of it happening. Videos, too. So just drop the act with me right now, okay? I already know the whole truth. This entire business trip of yours has just been one giant lie. You knocked up the woman you were cheating on me with and lied to me about need to go on a business trip so that you could help raise your kid. But I do have to admit that you really did trick me. I believed everything that you were telling me.
You don't understand. She was threatening me. She told me that if I didn't help her, that she would tell you all about us. That's the whole reason she went over to our house, to show me that she wasn't joking. But I didn't want you to find out because I didn't want you to leave me. Libby and I didn't have anything serious between the two of us. This whole thing has just been an accident.
You know, I don't even know whether to believe you or not anymore. But at this point, I just don't think I care at all.
Please, you have to understand. Libby said that if I help her for a month, that she'll never bother me again. I won't have to be a father to this child at all, and it can go back to being just you and I.
And you think that that kind of attitude makes me want to stay with you? You really are out of your mind if you think that I'm going to stick with you through this. You lied to me and kept me hoping that you would come back one day. But instead, you just kept stretching and stretching this lie until it collapsed under its own weight. You betrayed me, and I never, ever want anything to do with you ever again. Do you understand me? I mean, is this why I've been having to do all the work around the house? Is this why you've been coming home so late? Why it's been so difficult to even get a text back from you while you've been away?
Cindy, please. I really am sorry. You have to believe that I never ever wanted things to go this way. I should have never cheated on you, and I realize that now. So please, I just hope that you can find it in your heart to forgive me for what I've done to you.
You're a joke, and I never want anything to do with you again. The next you hear from me, it will be through my lawyer. After that, Jimmy and I began the divorce process. I'd collected enough evidence that he knew he had no way of getting out of this. Then, I sued him and Libby for their affair. At first, I was prepared to move out of the house, but because of the divorce, Jimmy was left with little choice but to father his child so that he could live with Libby. Apparently, it was either that or pay child support to Libby until the child turned 18. But Jimmy didn't have enough money after the lawsuit, and Libby knew that she would get more from him by having him at home. After the divorce, rumors started to fly around Jimmy's office about his so-called paternal leave. The employee who approached me at the supermarket talked about how confused I was when I heard I was supposed to have had a baby. When Jimmy returned to his office, practically everyone had some wild theory about what he was really doing. In the end, Jimmy quit his job out of embarrassment. I hear that things between Libby and him didn't last long after that either. As for me, it was tough getting over the shock of being cheated on, but I am trying to move on with my life bit by bit. I just hope that one day I'll be able to trust like I once trusted Jimmy again.
Hey Sandra, are you there? I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to have to work a bit of overtime today.
Oh, really? That's kind of weird, isn't it? You almost never have to work overtime, Jerry.
Well, the truth is that this morning my mom called my office. Like, she called me while I was at work.
Really? I thought you told her to try and just text you while you were at work, and not to go through the work phones. Do you think she just forgot or that she did this on purpose?
I think it was on purpose. But honestly, I really just can't believe that woman sometimes.
And let me guess, she was calling to demand that we move in with her again. Is that right?
You guessed it. Right on the money. I really thought it must have been some kind of emergency for her to go and do that, but she was just being persistent.
Well, it's probably because she knows you'll just ignore her if she tries to call you on your phone.
I think you're probably right about that. But we've already talked about this over and over, and she doesn't seem to get it. And now, for her to keep ignoring the answers that we've given to her and insist on calling me at work is just too much. I mean, she was yelling at me over the phone for 2 whole hours. Can you believe that?
Your mom really talked to you about us moving in with her for 2 hours? Wow, I can't even imagine having to do that.
Well, anyways, I was so busy dealing with her that I wasn't able to get any work done, and that's why I'm going to be coming home a little late.
I see. Wow, I'm really sorry to hear about that, Jerry. That sounds like no fun at all.
I know, right? And then after I was finished talking to her, I just felt completely drained and I needed to use an hour of my time off just to go on a long walk.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to rest at least a little bit after having to deal with her.
You know, I was looking up how to deal with a persistent mom online, and apparently the kind of person she is usually called an energy vampire.
And what exactly does that entail? I mean, what even is an energy vampire?
Basically, what they do is they refuse to take no for an answer. They just refuse to believe that they can be wrong, and so will go on arguing until they get their way. So basically, it's pretty much exactly as it sounds like. They feed off of you pushing back against them until you have no more energy to fight, and just give up due to exhaustion.
Ah, well, that makes sense. I think I know a couple people like that myself. Of course, I can typically just avoid spending time with them. It would be different if I was related to them, though.
I mean, really. My mom just does whatever she wants with no regard for anyone else. And she's always loved my brother more than me. You know, She asked him about living together first, but when he said no, she didn't fight at all. Instead, she just turned around and started insisting that we all live together.
And that really is rough. I mean, I still remember when we got married. I don't think your mom gave us anything. But I remember when your brother George got married, your mom practically showered him in presents. I've always wondered how your mom can act that way when she should be treating you both equally. It just isn't fair.
Yeah, well, it's because to my mom, George is everything that a good son should be. He graduated from a good school and is working a high-paying job. She brags about him to anyone who will listen to her.
And that's what I mean. That isn't fair for her to compare you to someone you're not. She should love you for you.
Well, I really wish that were the case, but I can't see any progress being made on that front until we're all living together. Which won't be happening, of course, but still.
No, you're right. I'm completely with you on this. I mean, I don't think your mom has really kept up with it at all since we got married. Ever since we did, she's just been keeping her distance and acting so coldly towards us. But after hearing about the horrible way that she treated you growing up, I just really don't think I could live with someone like her.
Well, don't you worry about that. We are never ever going to live together with my mom, okay?
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, Jerry. But I am really sorry that she had to pull that stunt on you today while you were at work.
Yeah, but I told her that she was never ever allowed to call me at work again. Of course, I doubt that she'll listen to me. But I'll just try responding to her with the bare minimum needed to keep her from getting mad at me.
I really hope that works, Jerry. But just please don't push yourself too much with all of this, okay? And just know that if you want, I'll be more than happy to talk to your mom and tell her to back off.
You don't need to go and do that for me, Sandra. This is really more of an issue between my mom and I. I really don't want to get you sucked into this too.
Well, okay, if you're sure about that. But how about I cook you something special for dinner tonight? That way you can start to recover all the energy that your mom drained from you earlier today.
Now that is a plan that I can get behind. I just hope that this overtime goes by really quickly.
Me too, Jerry, for both of our sakes. But good luck at work. You got this.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a good day at work too, Sandra.
Sandra, are you there? I wonder if I might be able to have a word with you quickly. Hello, Tiffany. Yes, of course we can talk. What seems to be the matter? Before we get into that, I just want to ask you if you already know what this might be about. I'm sure that Jerry has said something to you, no? I suppose that means you're talking about moving in with us again, right? Of course that's what I'm here to talk to you about. Honestly, how dare you even pretend like you don't know what I'm talking about here? Well, I had just heard that Jerry already told you that it wasn't something that was going to happen. So I thought you might have to come talk to me about something else instead. Oh, I know what Jerry said to me, but this conversation is still so far from being over. Great. Well then, what is it that you'd like to talk about regarding that? Sandra, you need to tell my son that we're going to live together. Convince him for me. Sorry, you want me to convince Jerry to let you live with us? Am I getting that right? Of course. I mean, you two are probably thinking about having kids soon, right? Don't you think it would be a good idea to have someone like me at home then? You mean because both Jerry and I are going to continue working, you think you could be at home to take care of our children? Wait a second. You were thinking of working even after you have kids? Are you serious? That's absurd. I mean, I'm not going to back to work right away. I'll rest a bit. But yes, I was thinking of keeping my job. Isn't that what you were getting at anyways with your suggestion? Don't you feel bad for how your child is going to end up if you do that? I mean, you'd be leaving your child in someone else's hands just for money? You're basically saying that you don't even want to be a mother. Look, Tiffany, I'm pretty confused by all of this, but I don't know what my plans for the future are exactly. But for now, I want to continue working so that I can help support my family. Do you even make that much money? I mean, what would even be the point of that? What about this then? What if you two just move in with me? Think about it. You wouldn't have to pay any kind of rent at all, and I could ask a friend to help you find some kind of part-time work. Then you would be able to work and take care of your kid at the same time. And when you were at work, I'd be able to look after them too. Actually, this is way better than me moving in with you. This is a great idea. Tiffany, please, we've talked about this, and both Jerry and I have told you that we want to keep working. The fact is that living together just isn't going to work. Besides, if we did go and move in with you, then that would mean that Jerry's commute would be something like 4 hours in total. You surely can't think that that's realistic to expect him to drive that much, right? Well, he would just quit his job when he comes here, of course. After all, didn't you know that I have some farmland out here? And besides, I need a son to take over the land so they can inherit it from me when I die. Wait a second. I thought that when your husband died, he said that he'd like his land to be worked by any of his relatives, but that it didn't really matter who. Well, sure. But if my son comes to live with me, then obviously that's a different story, right? Well, I thought that you were where you wanted to live with your eldest son, George, anyways, right? So why don't you go and talk to George and see if he wants to take over the family farm instead? Oh, I couldn't do something like that. After all, George has a good job at a really good company. What would be the point of making him toil like a farmer? It's Jerry who has never really been able to accomplish anything in his life at all. So I don't really see the point in him quitting to work the land. I really don't think that you're being too fair to your children at all. In fact, I didn't think we'd be having this conversation like this, but it's obvious that you care about George more than Jerry. Why do you treat Jerry and I like we're worse than your other son and his wife? Well, it's because George is amazing and Jerry is just, well, he's just normal. Besides, I raised those children from when they were born, so if I want them to do something for me now, they don't have a right to say no. And as for you, your job is to listen to your mother-in-law and agree with whatever she says. Okay, Tiffany, I'm busy working right now, so I'm going to go, okay? You know something, Sandra? This is why I don't like you. You're nothing but a spoiled city girl. Here I am offering a free house and a job on the farm. But I suppose that you're just too good for that, aren't you? Girls like you really make me mad. Well, if that's the case, then it sounds to me like it's a good thing that you and I aren't going to live together. And to think that Jerry used to be such an obedient boy. It's all your fault. He's changed ever since getting together with you. Well, I think that's good. I'm glad that Jerry has learned how to stand up to you. You don't know anything. You're just a spoiled brat who's not worthy to be my daughter-in-law. I mean, you two have been married for 3 years now, and you haven't even had a baby. You should just break up with my son. Well, that is just not going to happen. Jerry and I aren't going to break up, and you need to stop trying to get us to live together. How dare you try and order me, your mother-in-law, around? You really know how to push my buttons, do you know that? I never ever want to see you again. Do you understand me?
Hey, Sandra. I just wanted to let you know that I was going to go to my mom's house after I finished work for the day.
Wait, what? You're going to go to your mom's house after work today?
That's right. I'm going to go to my mom's house after work today to talk to her about living together.
Are you just going to go there all by yourself? Are you really sure that's a good idea?
I just feel so bad for you getting involved in all this stupid family drama of mine. I'm really sorry for what my mom was saying to you the last time the two of you talked to each other.
Oh, that really is okay. I also told her some things that I had on my mind for quite some time. But I suppose that I might have taken it just a little too far in some areas. I'm really sorry that I was mean to your mom.
But you didn't tell her anything that wasn't correct, Sandra. And I think that you did get across to my mom that you weren't interested at all in living with her. But this time, I'll go talk to her and make sure that she gets the message once and for all. Apparently even my brother is going to be there.
Oh, really? Well, I know that him and I haven't really talked all that much, but I really don't get a good feeling from him. I mean, the last time we saw George and his wife, they were laughing at us when we were talking about the situation with your mom.
Yeah, well, I guess no one can say that those two don't deserve each other, but it's very true that my mom spoiled George while we were growing up. And I think that's the reason why I kind of have a bit of a superiority complex around other people. Of course, it doesn't help that he's actually managed to make something of his life too.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, if it's really a good idea for you to go to your mom's house alone. I mean, it's not like your brother is going there to tell your mom he wants to live with her. He's just going to be there to take your mom's side and put you down.
I have no doubt about it. But if things go bad, then I'm going to tell them both that I never want to see them again.
Are you really sure about this, Jerry? That's a big step, don't you think?
I thought that you wouldn't understand this, but it's been something that I've been thinking of doing for a long time now.
I see. Well, okay then. If that's the case, I want you to know that I'll always have your back in this.
Thank you so much, Sandra. As long as we can be together, that's all I want.
That's all I want as well, Jerry. No matter what happens, that's it. And good luck talking to your mom and brother today, okay? Sandra, I'm so sorry for not getting back to you sooner. You must have been so freaked out when I just said I was going to my mom's and then never said anything else. What? What are you talking about? I mean about how I went to my mom's house to talk about her living together and stuff like that, right? Right. What about it? Well, anyways, I was finally able to see the error in my ways and how wrong I've been this whole time. What in the world are you going on about now, Jerry? I suppose I can't really blame you for being surprised about this, but I've really come to realize that family is the most important thing to me, and I can't turn my back on it. So that's why I'm not going to be going home, and I'll be wanting a divorce. I'll send the paperwork to you in the mail. Just sign it and send it to the courthouse for me, okay? No, seriously. Who even are you right now? My husband is sitting right here next to me. Sandra, what do you mean? It's me, Jerry. I'm the one messaging you right now. Wait a second. This is just Tiffany, isn't it? I really can't believe that you would do something like this. No, it's not. You have to believe me. It really is me. It really isn't, though. I am literally here with Jerry, who came back home a couple of days ago. He told me about how you took his phone from him and tried to lock him in your house to trap him. So there's only one person who would have access to Jerry's phone right now. It's you. Can you please just quit this dumb act already? We really don't mind going to the police and reporting what you've done. Wait a second. The police? You can't be serious about that, right? That's taking things way too far. Huh, I knew it. I knew it was you, Tiffany. No, you're wrong. Well, okay, you're not wrong. But I'm only trying to represent Jerry's best interest here. Oh, really? Then why don't you try telling me what Jerry came back home to me then? You don't understand. He already agreed that we would live together. You don't get to have a say in this at all. He is my son, and what I say goes. Maybe you might be able to speak up if you'd give me a kid already, but you haven't. Is that really what you dislike me so much? Because we haven't had any kids? It's the least you could do. I mean, Jerry's brother is amazing and talented and has a great job. Compared to him, Jerry has nothing going on for himself. He's completely average. And just what is so wrong with being average? But more than that, what has George and his wife ever actually done for you? Of course he has given you plenty to brag about to others, but aside from that, what has he really done? I mean, when your late husband was in the hospital, it was Jerry and I who pulled our money together to help you pay for his bills. Not only that, but even before that, when you two had that big anniversary, we were the ones who paid for the trip. You don't get it. George is the better son, and the proof of that is in the fact that he's too busy to work to do any of that. Well, if you think he's really all that great, then it sounds like he's the one you should be living with. It's clear that you only think of Jerry and I as tools at your disposal, and we're not going to stand for that. How can you tell me something like that when I raised my child ever since he was born? Have you ever told George that to try and get something out of him? Do you really think that doing the bare minimum that a mother should give you control over your children? You only ever talk to us when you need something, and even then, you have to do it in the rudest way possible. We would never ever live with someone like you. I mean, you harassed your own son at work by keeping him on the phone for hours. If you don't leave my husband and I alone, we will call the police and I will sue you. So if that's what you want, then keep this up. You mean that you would really call the police and sue a member of your own family? I don't think that Jerry would stand for that one bit. Okay then, why don't you test that theory of yours then, huh? Because we've told you what's going to happen if you do. As of now, Jerry and I never want anything to do with you or the rest of your family again. You mean you're going to just try and cut me out of your lives? You can't do this to me. Jerry would never go along with this. Actually, it was Jerry's idea to do so. He told me that if you didn't listen to him when he went to talk to you, that's what he would do. But you took things way farther than just not listening to him, didn't you? You tried to imprison him in your own home. And you got Jerry's brother to help you do it too. Do you really think the police aren't going to do anything about this? Please, don't call the police. They don't need to know about any of this. We won't call the police or tell anyone about what you've done as long as you leave us alone. Sandra, you really have to understand something. I have raised my boys from birth. And sure, I said plenty of horrible things to Jerry and I put him down his whole life. But it doesn't mean that I don't love him. And I suppose it's that same love that drove you to try and kidnap your own son, right? The fact is that Jerry and I have been there for you in every way that we were able to. And you only ever spit that kindness back in our faces. If you want to talk to us again, then I recommend finding a good lawyer first, because they're going to be the ones doing most of the talking. How can you do this to me? How can you try to take my own son, my own flesh and blood from me? Don't you know that I carried him inside me for 9 long months? And you made his life very difficult for several times that amount of time. You've had your chance to change, but now it's clear that you never will. As long as you stay away from us, we won't have any problems. After we threatened to sue Tiffany and George if they ever came near Jerry and I again, we never had another problem with either of them. We even made them sign notarized agreements that they would never contact us again. And we made sure to include a clause that if they ever broke their promise, that it would trigger a police complaint form to be filed with the local authorities. Inside that form would be explained how Tiffany and George kidnapped Jerry and locked him inside Tiffany's house. Unfortunately for Tiffany, George was able to escape when her neighbors heard her shouting for help from his room. We talked to some of them and they agreed to serve as witnesses if we took Tiffany to court. It turns out that Tiffany already had a terrible reputation in the neighborhood for how mean she was. But with this little event, rumors about what she had done again began flying around her neighborhood without us having to do anything. Now I hear that hardly anyone even speaks to Tiffany anymore. Both Jerry and I were rather happy to hear about that turn of events, since we were worried that the truth about Tiffany might never come out. Of course, both of us wanted to report her to the police right away, but we figured that we could get more out of her this way than with the mere fine she might be made to pay by a court. And since Tiffany lost access to us, she began to pester her other son more and more for them to move in with her. One day, George even tried calling our phone to try and complain how it was all our fault that this was happening. But Jerry only needed to remind him of their contract for George to hang up immediately out of fear of being sued. Jerry and I had a really long laugh about that night that it happened. However, we realized that it was only a matter of time before the statute of limitations would render that contract useless. So Jerry and I agreed to pack up our bags and move to another state without telling any of his family. We talked to our companies and managed to find a location that had branches for both our offices, and were able to move there. Now we're happily living in a new home and enjoying out normal, ordinary lives with no crazy family members pestering us all the time. As for Tiffany and George, Jerry and I haven't heard from them since our move, and that is the way that we would like to keep things forever. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.